Eco-criticism, environmental studies, green reading, green studies, all these are related terms. What these things primarily do is they try to focus on the centrality of nature to human life and in fact all other life forms. Here, in this regard, we as Indians probably can feel slightly complacent insofar as in our cultural traditions, not only in India but China and other Oriental cultures, nature was always given a place almost alongside human. So we believe that all life forms, that is trees, etc., they have life from the beginning. Yo Devo Shudhisu Apsu, the deity which pervades, the creepers and water everywhere. So that kind of idea was there. So our idea of life was minimal intrusion to nature. Though after colonization, due to mass industrialization, we also have changed it a lot. Anyway, eco-critics hold primarily Western philosophy responsible, especially Western or rather Judeo-Christian or Abrahamic religious philosophy, responsible for the neglect of nature. Because in the Bible it is said that God had created all animals, birds, beasts, everything, etc., for man's enjoyment. In fact, we too have similar views actually. It's not that we do not regard human form as the best form of life, but anyway, there is a kind of negotiation, more subtle negotiation. Anyway, starting from this basic philosophy, uh, nature had been always given a secondary position in the Western tradition in comparison to the Oriental tradition. And this became a great problem, especially after the Industrial Revolution. Wordsworth and other romantic poets, I have spoken about them in my videos on Wordsworth. They could feel that we were doing a very bad thing by disobeying nature. In fact, Wordsworth installed nature as the kind of god, high priest of nature, he is called. But anyway, in modern times, especially after the industrial revolution and rapid industrialization and all that, and especially the world wars, people became very much aware and alert about the destruction of nature that is taking place even in the West. In this regard, a very important book was The Silent Spring. The Silent Spring is generally regarded to be the initiator of environmental studies or eco-critical studies in the modern form in Western literature. So, I mean Western culture. Anyway, we have come a long way from this, and it has been found out that not only that we have destroyed nature, but in destroying nature we have destroyed ourselves also. We possibly commonly know only about the ozone layer being compromised with, but in every field, even all our bodily problems, most of them are coming from the kind of food that we have, which have been heavily mediated by science, technology. How to make grounds highly productive, or how to make crops much more productive than they naturally are. That has led to an extensive use of artificial manure, pesticides, insecticides. When you wash rice, lentils, etc., you will find for some time a lot of dirty white water keeps coming. This is because in most cases they are kept in storages for years together before they are passed on to us, and to save them from insects and pests, etc., so many things are given on them. So that is why many problems we are having. Longevity has gone up, but with medicines, lot of medicines. as soon as one crosses 30, generally these days, day starts with a morning pill of antacid, etc., and the last thing at night, some other kind of pill, sleeping or whatever. So this is how we have made such a mess of ourselves. What man has made of man, as Wordsworth said. So, eco-criticism or eco-critics actually say that Western civilization and culture is anthropocentric, man-centered. As we talk very proudly in the context of Alexander Pope or Enlightenment, that presumed and not forgot to scan what the best study of mankind is man. So man is the center. That is the real cause of the problem. Man center, nature secondary, even women secondary. That is that is a hidden thing. So this man-centric thing, eco-critics or ecological scientists or ecologists, they are trying hard to replace this man-centered view by a nature-centered view, that is called ecocentric view. So ecocentrism, not anthropocentrism, is the solution. So today the population of the world is more than 600 crores, I believe. But how many tigers? Not even 1000 all over the world, maybe 2000. Lions. We have killed almost all life forms. And those which we eat, like chickens, we are growing artificially, like broiler, these, broiler, these and that. So, everything has gone haywire. That is why we are unhappy. We are dependent on so many pills, etc. And collectively, also, we are about to be extinguished because the glaciers from which the Himalayan glaciers from which the river Ganga comes from, example, is melting at such a high speed for last 10 years that it is predicted after 40 years, if this rate continues, Ganga will be extinct. Then it is the lifeline of entire North India, so on and so forth. Amazon, rainforest was burned recently. Dihing Patkai case. It's good that people are aware. Now, if even water, potable or drinkable water vanishes, on what shall we live? So, thinking about nature is actually the best thing, the best way to think about ourselves. By thinking about ourselves, human beings, we will harm ourselves as well as nature. Put nature at the center, then we will have sustainable living, etc. Now another question, sustainable development. Earlier you may have listened, we spoke a lot about development, progress, etc. That means destroy jungles, bring concrete buildings, and finally now we see that this reduces oxygen, reduces water levels, so finally ill effects. So these days we don't talk about development but sustainable development. One of the basic meaning of sustainable development is not interfering with nature, but unfortunately in most cases the name sustainable development only remains in pen and paper. The main thing that goes on is that good old destruction of nature. Plastics, you all know how Mumbai floods are artificial, caused by the polythenes, plastics that have choked and clogged many things there. So now I come to a very related and associated field called ecofeminism. Sometimes these two are used interchangeably, but there is a difference. Eco-criticism is the broader term which talks about every important issue related to nature. Ecofeminists actually concentrate more on how nature and women are subjugated by patriarchy, anthropocentric patriarchy, and put in at the same category. Just as men and women in a combined way exploit nature, so also men in a way exploit women in many ways. And then also literary images you will see in many places, the land, forest, etc. are compared to virgins. So who is speaking? Male voice, male view. So virgin have to be occupied. Now that kind of idea, Virginia, West Virginia, all these names came from. Now that is bad, very bad, predatory masculinity in a way. So that view has to go away. So that way, ecofeminists actually they show how women are in fact closer to nature on the one hand, and also on the other hand how nature and women have been made subject to this kind of male greed. And now finally, before conclude, so many things I cannot say everything, when we meet for class we'll discuss. One very very important name is that of Vandana Shiva. You must watch her videos. From India, such an excellent lady. She is even showing how the governmental changes are also non-effective because it is big corporate houses, Bill Gates and others, who are controlling all over the world. Why is so much emphasis on digitization or digitalization? They are developing or have developed such apps that even news of how many women are pregnant in the long run will be available with Bill Gates or other corporates, so that they can make even future uh, planning of maximizing profits. That is Bandhana Shiva's view. And also how